Hey, it's Clinton back with more Destiny. Welcome to the first weapon review on this channel. Today's review should come as no surprise if you've seen some of my recent Destiny videos. It's for the Hawkmoon. So a little disclaimer before we begin, a lot of new changes have come out from Bungie in the past week. The content of this review should stay relevant in regards to how non-DLC exotics, exotics from the base game only, that is, how they will work. There are a few new changes to consider when deciding how to use and upgrade any exotic weapon going forward, but I'll touch on this some more at the end of this review. So the basics of the Hawkmoon. The Hawkmoon is an exotic class hand cannon that is currently only available for Destiny players on the PS3 and PS4 consoles. Xbox 360 and Xbox One owners will get access to the Hawkmoon and other exclusive content by the fall of 2015. I've mentioned before that the duration of this exclusivity deal is kind of stupid, but that's a whole other topic for another day. The Hawkmoon is not sold by the tower vendors and has never been sold by Xur, Agent of the Nine. The ways to get the Hawkmoon include doing the Vaulted Glass raid on Venus, the weekly heroic strikes, the weekly nightfall strikes, the Crucible PvP, any mode, and decrypting rare, legendary, and exotic engrams. In short, you obtain the Hawkmoon as a random drop. Now we go over the weapon overview. The Hawkmoon is a very pure interpretation of what a hand cannon in Destiny is supposed to be, in my opinion. And these things are big stopping power, good range and accuracy, high risk, high reward gameplay, and an undeniable cool factor. Other exotics like to stray from the standard archetype. An example would be Thorn, which has bullets that damage over time. The Surus Regime is an auto rifle that feels like a full auto scout rifle sometimes. And the last word is a hand cannon that makes you feel like a cowboy from the Old West. But with the Hawkmoon, when you get right down to it, it's a pretty what you see is what you get kind of hand cannon. The real difference to keep in mind is that it's still best in its class in what it does. Appearance-wise, the Hawkmoon has a very distinctive look. It's got that hawk motif with lots of talons and swoops to it. On the barrel you have the hawk feather etchings. You get a very nice polished gleaming silver look to it, which looks very striking, and it can be a bit distracting when it's catching the light on certain maps. The iron sights aren't as clean as on other guns, but you get used to it pretty quickly. The way it sounds is fantastic. The report from shooting the gun is great. It sounds powerful. They could probably increase the bass on it to give it more of a boom, but generally you'll get a satisfying feedback every time you pull the trigger. Now we're talking about the stats and key differentiators with the Hawkmoon. It comes down to three main things, the Holy Trinity, and that's power, the rounds in the magazine, and the range. Now let's talk about power first. Like other hand cannons, the Hawkmoon has a very high impact rating. The Hawkmoon specifically does not have the highest impact of hand cannons. I think that belongs to the Regulator, which is a rare hand cannon, but the Regulator has a bunch of other weaknesses compared to the Hawkmoon. The Hawkmoon has a 2 headshot or 3 body shot kill rate. And let's see here. The current version of the Hawkmoon, this is before the Dark Below DLC. The current version, the max damage or the max attack is 300. Now post the DLC, there's going to be a new upgraded version of the Hawkmoon that begins at 302 attack and it maxes out at 323 attack. And I'll touch more on this at the end of the review. The clip size is probably one of the best things about the Hawkmoon. There are 13 rounds per clip. This is an astonishing number of shots when you look at lower level hand cannons with their 5 or 6 rounds per clip. This alleviates two shortcomings with using hand cannons in general, especially the lower level ones, and that is you have longer reload times typically, and you have basically too much reloading per match of, say, the Crucible. You spend more time posting kills with the Hawkmoon versus hiding in a corner reloading the gun. Now we talk about the range. The Hawkmoon has better range and accuracy than many other hand cannons. The range is so good it feels like a harder hitting scout rifle. It can be harder to take advantage of that extra range because you don't have an enhanced zoom on the scope, but you know, it's still really good. Range advantage is best used in PvE. In PvP, finding a tight corridor to throw bullets downrange can be surprisingly effective. It's possible to counter snipe real snipers with the Hawkmoon, and it feels great when you can pull it off. Now let's talk about the signature upgrades. The first one is Luck in the Chamber, and what this gives you is one random bullet in the magazine can cause considerable bonus damage. Later on down the skill tree, you can unlock Holding Aces, and it gives you 2 more random bullets in the magazine that cause bonus damage. Now, this bonus damage is significant in both PvE and PvP. In PvP, you're looking at 1 shot to the head if you get one of these bonus damage rounds, or 1 to 2 shots to the body, depending on how injured your target already is. I call these 2 perks, Luck in the Chamber and Holding Aces, icing on the cake bonuses. Because of their random nature, I generally do not think about them when using the Hawkmoon, except when it comes to my reloading habits. So the Hawkmoon is not for compulsive reloaders, I'll tell you that right now. The more rounds you can expend for the clip, the more likely you are to shoot one of those bonus damage bullets. In the simplest terms, if you empty the magazine every time that you use it, 23% of the bullets hitting your targets will have bonus damage. You just don't get to choose when those power bullets come out. So if you look at the other upgrades, we look at the ballistics and handling upgrades. We have Accurized Ballistics, which gives you more range and impact at the cost of more recoil. Then there's Field Choke, which gives you more range and impact, again, at the cost of more recoil. And finally there is Aggressive Ballistics, which gives you more predictable recoil, and you get enhanced impact, but you get shorter range and more recoil. I tend to favor this one still, the Aggressive Ballistics. Other upgrades, we have Hammer Forged. This gives you improved range and accuracy. And I would say this is the way to go for PvE, and if you don't do a lot of weapon switching in PvP. In PvE, you generally want to maintain distance from enemies, especially when you're doing story missions on Heroic or doing the weekly strikes and Nightfall Strike. It's good to have that extra range. Next we have Speed Reload, and this allows you of course to reload the weapon quickly, and after the recent patch this actually replaces Send It, which was redundant when you compared it with Hammerforged, and I did a video previously comparing Hammerforged and Send It on the Hawkmoon. So Speed Reload stacks with armor reload bonuses, but I found that it has diminishing returns when you do that. It's totally worth picking Speed Reload if you don't have any other reload bonuses on your character. The vanilla reload speed on the Hawkmoon is kind of on the slow side. So Speed Reload is a good one to pick if you're into a more aggressive playstyle, you like to push the pace and play PvP in more of the medium or medium close range a lot. Then we have the quick draw perk. This quick draw means that your weapon can be drawn unbelievably fast, and it also increases your aim down sight speed. This is a good pick for PvP, especially if you always like having the right tool for the job. Especially if your special weapon also has quick draw, so when you're switching to your special and switching back, you're always pulling out your gun as quickly as possible. So this makes it a really good combo with something like a shotgun. And if you have the Hawkmoon and a shotgun, and you have quick draw, you're pretty much well covered at all ranges of play. So that's something to consider for sure. So we're getting near the end. I just want to wrap things up sort of with some advice on playing Hawkmoon. I've used it quite a bit now and I have it fully upgraded. I would say with the Hawkmoon, you do want to play more cautiously and, as I mentioned before, keep your distance. My old saying is, fools rush in, right? You're the third or fourth guy jumping into the fray, never the first. That said, Hawkmoon is a great finisher if you're that guy who's coming into the firefight a little bit late. The enemy targets are already sort of taking damage. Your Hawkmoon can just finish them off with one shot, maybe two shots, and that is really useful to have. I'm not sure how well it performs in Rumble. I've only used it once in Rumble, so it's too soon to say, but I have a feeling that it is really crucial to stick to the perimeter of any map and just work on picking apart people from a distance. If you're in a Rumble match, or basically any match really, you really want to be cautious with it. So along the same line, you want to pick your engagements. The fire rate of the Hawkmoon is on par with typical hand cannons, and that means it fires fast enough, usually, until there's somebody right on top of you with a shotgun or a fusion rifle, right? It sucks being ambushed when you're using a Hawkmoon. But at the same time, you want to use the map well, have some good situational awareness, and let enemies come to you. You want to time an enemy... the time an enemy spends chasing you is more time for you to lock on with more headshots, right? Also, I would say refrain from reloading the gun until you're down to about 3 rounds. Again, this allows you a higher chance to shoot out those bonus damage bullets provided by luck in the chamber and holding aces. And if you get it down to 3 rounds in your magazine, it still gives you some insurance in case somebody jumps you, and then you have just enough bullets to put them down. That is, 3 body shots can kill someone. And last but not least, I would say headshots, always headshots. Don't spam the trigger like I do all the time. Take your time and aim for the upper chest and head area. You will be paid back with many kills. It will be very rewarding and satisfying if you just take your time and aim, get those headshots. So in conclusion, the Hawkmoon, I would say, is the hand cannon's hand cannon. All the scrubby, common, uncommon, and rare hand cannons want to be like the Hawkmoon, and all the legendaries want to be the Hawkmoon's backup partner. It doesn't rewrite how you would play this type of weapon, but its range and magazine size really allow you to play in this style with much more success, more easily. If you've written off hand cannons as a viable weapon, you absolutely must give the Hawkmoon a fair shake if you are lucky enough to get one. If you've already settled on a favorite hand cannon, of course hang on to it for those times you want to equip a special or heavy weapon in your exotic slot. The Hawkmoon is still worth upgrading all the way because of its power potential in the high-level PvE content. It's just pure raw power. And again, having 13 rounds of pure power is nothing to sniff at. So, I keep saying it's like in conclusion or a semi-final note or a final note. I just want to put out a disclaimer in regards to sort of the the New World Order that's coming down with the launch of the Dark Below DLC this week. Now, regardless of whether you've bought the DLC or not, beginning on December 9th, if you get Hawkmoon or any other exotic weapon, it will start at the higher base attack of 302. And then you can then upgrade it to maximum attack value of 323. Provided you have bought some exotic shards from Xur over the weekend, or you're just a player with a healthy collection of exotics already, getting the Hawkmoon before December 9th still isn't going to be a downer by any means. If you already have the Hawkmoon but still haven't maxed it out, give some thought into what you want to do with it. You may want to keep upgrading it so that it is as powerful as possible for the next Iron Banner, which begins on December 16th. If you don't care about that and plan to keep using the gun far into the future, you may want to put it aside for now until you're able to upgrade to the new version with Xur after December 9th. Does that sound good? Right? Does it make sense? It's all a bit strange and not the most elegant system that they've created here. I'm a user experience guy. I'm really big on that, and I just shake my head sometimes thinking about those more casual players who try to play Destiny without being plugged into gaming news sites, YouTube, and, well, just the internet in general. But again, that's a topic for another day, and these are just some notes to keep in mind if you're still waiting to get the Hawkmoon in your collection or you're in the middle of upgrading it. So that's it. Thanks for watching my review of the Hawkmoon hand cannon. I will only review weapons I have fully upgraded and try my best to review exotics and legendaries that can be bought from vendors. The RNG legendaries have different and randomly assigned upgrade loadouts, but if I do review these RNG versions of a weapon, I will be sure to point out the differences in how they upgrade and potential changes to how you might use them. So again, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please support this channel with your eyeballs and with your fingers when you like and share my video with your friends. And do subscribe if you'd like to get the latest fix on good, wholesome Destiny stuff. So I'll see you all next time. Ciao.